for closing comments is held every Tuesday and Thursday. Tammie Wilson, how you doing? You're running for Borough Assembly. What seat?
Seat C.
Seat C. Okay.
I'm not too sure I can follow that. The mayor was...
So you'll be out here on the 25th.
Yes, sir.
Closing comments program. Okay. So, how are you doing this morning?
Just great, you know.
Okay.
It's not raining, so it's going to be a good day. At least so far.
So far, so good.
You just walk faster when it's raining, you know.
Yeah, right. That's right. So this is your first attempt at any office, public office?
No, this is my second attempt. Yeah, I attempted last year. So we're out looking for 12 more votes. It was really, really close. So we just keep knocking, figuring, you know, maybe that's the 12 we needed last year. So, you know, just getting out there, talking to the people, finding out what the true issues are for them. Because, you know, our borough is huge.
Right.
So
it's huge, yeah.
You know, if you live in the city, you definitely have different concerns than if you live out in Salsha or out into the rural areas. Because, you know, it just changes with the terrain, and you just want different things. And that's why you live in those areas. But yet the borough, when they make rules, you know, applies to those who live in the city as well as those who live way out in the country. So it makes things a lot more interesting.
Right. What are some of the reports you've been getting from people? I mean, have you been talking to, you know, what's the difference between the issues in the city and the issues in the borough? What do people say?
I think the city, you know, looks for a few more restrictions than those out in the borough. The borough, they know they're going to have more services they're going to have to pay for themselves. For instance, like roads. And they don't mind doing that because in exchange, they get the beautiful scenery, they live on 5 or 10 acres. They don't expect the government to come in and take care of them. But if you live in the city, you're right on top of each other, so you need more services. You need the police, you expect better roads, you know, and you pay for them because you also pay a city tax as well as you pay for the borough. But I just think when we come to zoning also, you want a little more restriction when you're inside the city. But when you get outside of it, you usually can't see the next property. So I think we just have to kind of realize, though, you have to believe that people will be good neighbors instead of trying to regulate. Because when you're regulating, you also have to send somebody out there to check on it. And if you have to go down dusty roads to try to find somebody who may be going against some kind of rule, I think we're wasting a lot of time. And I think the biggest concern, though, is people still is property taxes. They're still trying to figure out how they can pay them and why they keep going up so high and why we keep spending so much money. So I think it's time that we just start looking into that. The borough's gotten pretty big, you know, over the years. Everything always seems to grow. So I think we just go back to the start and we look at each department and we say, hey, you know, are they being as frugal as they can, or do we need to make some cuts and some changes so that we can save money in every area? And just the little things like every year we've been hiring 6 to 7 more people. Well, if we need to stop doing that, right there, there's a big savings, and we haven't really heard anything. And the other thing I'm excited about is the IM program. We're getting ready to start shutting it down, which everybody's like, yeah, right, you know, sure. You know, we've heard that before.
I heard that. There's an article in the paper that Anchorage was not going to be participating in that either.
Right. Well, we're trying to actually do it in the legal fashion so that EPA is happy. And on the 25th of this month, from 6:30 to 9 at the Borough, we have our first public hearing from the IM Commission, which is a committee that I'm on. So no matter which side you stand on, you need to come out and get your say in it so that we can start going directly to it. And also the borough will also do the same thing on Thursday. They'll have a hearing. They have an ordinance up to end it also. But those are all processes you have to go through to say, you know, we've been underneath the cap, and we have been for many years now, and we have shown that we've done everything that we can to make the cars more efficient, and the cars are getting newer. That helps. You know, the winters are getting a little warmer, which doesn't hurt either. You don't have to run those cars for quite as long. And all that's really helping in the gas, and I think it's really outlived itself. And I think all we're hurting now is those people who, you know, people who drive older cars, most of them is because that's what you can afford.
Right.
And to add extra fees on top of that because of it just hurts the people who can't afford it. So I'm really excited that we are on the trail, and we're looking probably within the next 18 months of having it gone.
Right. Well, what about, you know, the threat that they put in front of us several years ago about getting away with it was that we would not get any more federal funds as far as our highways are concerned if we dropped the IM tip.
That's because we were just going to drop it. You know, we were just going to end it on our own.
Okay.
We weren't going to go through the process. And what the process is that we go through these hearings. We actually turn all of our data over to the EPA, which we've been working with, so they already know what it is. It's just a process. They look at our maintenance programs, what we've done, and they give their okay. And then it goes to the state. And then you're legally getting rid of it, and they can't hold those over you. But what they they attempted to do with a vote is that we don't care. We're ending it. We're tired of it. We don't see any reason for it. And they could have come in and made us do that. And Anchorage, from my understanding, is doing the same thing. They're going through the proper procedures. Because they do have lawsuits against other people in states who did that, who just said, we're tired. We don't care what you do to us. We're just going to quit. And now they're coming back and making them do everything all over again. And you never want to reinstitute something anyway. We want to do it right so that we're not coming back in a year saying, oh, we made a mistake. Now we're going to start it all over again. I wouldn't want to be there if that happened. So we're going through the proper procedure, and that's what's really great about it.
Okay. As far as you being on the Borough Assembly, Seat C, what expertise do you have as far as helping them out? What do you think you could give to them?
I think the biggest thing is I attend the meetings now, so I already know a lot of things that are going on. And I also know what it's like to sit in that seat and try to come up in 3 minutes with your questions, your concerns, and then you sit there because you can't have a dialogue, which that just drives me crazy because you want your questions answered. So having that experience in itself, when I sit up there, if you ask a question, the first thing I'm going to do, we do have dialogue. I can get those questions answered. So you feel like you came down there for a purpose. You may understand a little bit better why things are going the way they are. Instead of coming up, you ask your questions, a discussion happens, you never do find out the answers, and things get passed without understanding. And that frustrates people, and then they don't come anymore. And if they don't come, you have to have involvement from the residents to really have a good government. Otherwise, everything happens in the wrong way. So we really need to be respectful to those who take out their time and come down and testify and have concerns and go back and answer their questions and calm them down and let them know whether, and they may have great things and it may change the way people are going to vote, so we need to make sure that we're listening to them.
Okay. And so you, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you any place. What's your number?
It's 490-0312, and call. I'm out on the streets most of the day till about 6 or 7, but I call everybody back in the evening. And also, I run around my truck. If you just see it, it says Tammie Wilson on it, just stop me, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you because that's what I'm out there for.
Okay. And, of course, we want everybody to get out there and vote on November.
On October 2nd.
October 2nd.
Otherwise, it's going to be a little too late,
A little too late if you go in November. October 2nd. And thank you, Tammie.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's Tammie Wilson, who is running for Seat C with the Borough Assembly. And so if you want to know more about her or what she stands for or would like to have her at a meeting or something,